Okay. All right. I gotta check everything out. Hello, check. Oh, let's see. Hello, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Check, check. All right. So I've got to send links. This one's probably got to be closer. Whatever. I have another one on this side. But yeah, I can probably turn that up. Yeah. I gotta send links and stuff. There's that one. Yep, there goes that. Okay. Yeah, so my computer crashed, unfortunately. While I was writing every single thing out. And yeah, so I'm gonna be winging a lot of this. The interview that I was supposed to do did not happen. The person I was going to interview had some to do, and so they're not going to be here. So I had to come up with something else. And my doctor visit that I went to yesterday, I had asked him about someone who's bipolar or in the manic depressive state. How do they feel emotions? I feel that it's more intense. And I guess my question to him was, is that true? Does a bipolar individual feel emotions such as love differently than somebody who does not have? Says that I need to wait while we try to reconnect. Okay, seems to say you're back. Do we really feel it strong with someone normal? And the doctor's response was emphatically yes. Me being bipolar 2, and I guess basically the type of person that I am, I feel emotions in an extreme manner. And I also am, he called it descriptive. He was talking about the different appointments that we've had over time and the way that he's communicated with me. He's noticed that when I'm in a manic state or depressed or anything like that, I seem to be very descriptive with what's going on. So that's why he comes up with I'm more descriptive. So anyway, I went online and I started digging. And I found a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, there is so much information on being bipolar or being manic depressive, the whole list, and feeling emotions. And the one primary thing I really was going to try to cover as much of everything as possible, but the one main thing that everybody asks is about love. And I guess that's the big thing, because there is actually a group. I got to look up their name. Like I said, I lost my list. But there is an organization of doctors from around the world that get together and they study um, the lives of people with manic depressive disorder. And where is it? What is it called? Oh, there it is. Human Sexuality Committee of the Group for the Advancement of Psychiatry. It's a long freaking name. But anyway, they have a website. If you type that in, the Human Sexuality Committee of the Group of the Achievement of Psychiatry, if you go there, there is a list, and it goes through addiction, adulthood, freaking emotions, sex. I mean, it goes through everything. They even had a book about, it was weird. It was like, had like this really warm yellow cover, but it was something about murder and families. I don't know. It was strange. So trust me, they cover everything. I didn't go into all that. But it's cool. But they have been studying. There's a paper, a work paper called, what is it? in the mood, and they debate whether, or they try to figure out whether a person is genuinely in love or are they manic? Because when you're manic or hypomanic, you are feeling more intensely. Things are hitting you harder. On WebMD, they have a whole nother study that they lead you to where a group in Europe took several individuals with bipolar and they ran an MRI during depression, during hypomania, and some people who were normal. And it turns out that someone like me, we actually have less gray matter in certain parts of our brain. And they believe that because of that shortness of gray matter, that's the bipolar stuff. Well, as I've said on Tuber and on here and everywhere else, I take lithium. And then the reason why I'm bringing that up now is because the article brought it up. Apparently, lithium restores the gray matter in those areas, which I didn't know that. I thought it was just a mood stabilizer, They gave a time frame. I think it was like within 4 weeks of starting a lithium regimen. Within 4 weeks, gray matter starts to come back in these depleted areas. So I've noticed since the first time that I started taking lithium that my thinking process in general is completely different now than what it used to be. I would be more, I would just go do things, just either whether it was bad or good, I would just go do it. Now I may think of something, but I don't just fly off and, run and do anything crazy. So I wonder now after reading that article, did I get more brain? Am I smarter now? Oh Lord, let me go through here. The reason why I guess people bring up the aspect of love is because when you fall in love, the feeling that you get is almost the same as having mania. So I guess if you want to tell someone who is not bipolar, what does it feel like to be bipolar and go through a manic state? You could say it's like when you first fall in love. It's kind of the same chemicals and stuff get jostled around, and you feel invincible, you're unstoppable, and you're going to do all these things, and everything's great. The world's great. Your life is great. And then after like a week, you're just down in the dirt. It's kind of like falling in love and then breaking up. But just imagine doing it like every week. Like that's pretty much how it goes. So how would someone navigate that feeling while also trying to either be in a relationship or trying not to be so mad at somebody, being able to get over something? I don't know. I mean, I've spent so many years being erratic and being very impulsive on my decisions that right now I honestly don't know. And the best example I can give you is right now I really, really, really like somebody. And the feelings are intense, but I don't feel I really can't think of the word. I don't feel a propensity, or I don't feel like I have to do anything. It's just fun in the moment. And now, if you would have talked to me last year, 5 years ago, I would have like just packed up, been gone, and there had been nothing around. You wouldn't even know that I had been here. So it is different now. And with people that I don't like, instead of me just going off on tangents about how horrible they are and what they did to me and yada, 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 going through all that stuff, there's things that hurt, but humans have always hurt other humans. That's just the way it is. And so it doesn't sit on me like it normally would. And if I'm in a manic state and I don't like somebody, now that I think about it, it gets really bad. Like, anyway, I won't go into all that, but my manic states can increase my impulsivity and cause me to either go way off in the angry end or way off in the caring end. And the more that I learn, like through the websites and talking to my doctor, the more of I guess, a grasp that I get on what's happening inside my own head. And I've never thought about it until I got put on lithium. When I got put on lithium, all of a sudden it was, my world flipped upside down. And I've always been inquisitive, but I guess I've been inquisitive on the wrong subject. I've never thought about me. And of course, when I do it now, it sucks because there's a lot of stupid things that I did. But I understand that being bipolar, there's a possibility, I'm pretty sure, that a lot of that bad stuff was because of the high ups and downs that I fluctuate through. So now, from this point, from the point I started taking lithium forward, I've been a little bit more careful about things. There was a good quote, and I probably won't be able to find it because, again, I lost what I had written. There was a guy who's been married for like 10 years, has 4 kids, and now he's questioning getting married. And the reason why he's questioning that is because of the fact that he understands that he is bipolar. And when he asked his wife to marry him, he was in a manic state. So 10 years later now, he figures out that he's bipolar. He gets on medication. He starts leveling off. And now he's got second thoughts. So he made a statement about how when you find out that you're bipolar and you find out you have all these things, you begin to not trust yourself. And I already have like massive trust issues to begin with. So I will say, learning that I'm bipolar, I question almost everything twice as hard as what I would do beforehand. Beforehand, I wouldn't question things until later. And of course, hindsight is 2020. But I don't need hindsight. I need sight. I got to see what's going on right now. So that is true now for me. Just like this guy, I'm second guessing myself on anything that I try to do. But I guess I don't know. I try to still be in the moment as much as I can. Not with anger, though. When I get angry, I try to let that out the moment that it happens and try to, come back to the other, which I don't know if that's good either. You would think that there would be a balance between the two, but I guess I'm still figuring out what the balance would be, in a way. There was something else. Yeah. The chemistry of love thing. It's chemical families. So you have like dopamine, serotonin, testosterone, estrogen, the norepinephrine. all that stuff, adrenaline, all that stuff flowing. With the smaller parts of the brain, it's harder for certain chemicals to act. And of course, you fly off into one side or the other. So it's weird being a bipolar individual and going through anything that's emotional. I can remember being in Iraq in 2003. Everything was cool until I landed in Baghdad and the back of the plane opened and everything was on fire. Suddenly I was just in shock for the whole time. I mean, emotions are hard for manic depressives. And now don't just think bipolar. You got to remember manic depressive encompasses bipolar 1, bipolar 2, cyclothymia, and unipolar. I still haven't looked into unipolar. I don't even know what that is. But there's 4 groups within the manic depressive area. And then, of course, you have other psychological disorders, schizophrenia. You have the dissociative disorders. There was a chart that even people with bipolar and psychotic symptoms can have delusions and hallucinations. So, so there's a lot of shit that we go through, and that's kind of why on Tuber I'll use the terminology of normie, and then of course talk about bipolar people, because normie are the normals that can process things appropriately. I can't do that apparently. And there was some other studies I found that tried to say that childhood traumas or things that you went through as a child may lead to bipolar activity. But the study where they did the MRIs on the brain, I really think it's the shrinking of these certain areas in the brain that causes it. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. But again, I don't have any answer on actually dealing with emotions as a bipolar person, other than one doctor suggested any emotion that you feel, you should probably take it slow in any case. Doesn't matter what it is. If you're angry, happy, sad, whatever, you need to be able to step back. Also, you need to start recognizing patterns. I do that with my videos on Tuber. You'll hear me say, I'm manic right now. You see me doing all this stuff. I can recognize when it's coming on. And but I've never thought about recognizing if I'm manic while feeling an emotion. So I know it sounds like, oh God, more crap I got to do, but it'll help. It's helped me just figuring out when I'm depressed, when I'm going to crash, when I'm going to go manic. I mean, I can tell you just before I'm going, and it'll run for a while and then I'll just hit the ground. So same thing with emotions. I believe you need to do the same thing. So I got to do that. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for now, since of course my computer crashed and stuff happens. But the interview has not been rescheduled yet. I don't know when that's going to happen. I'll have to figure something out. I don't know. I'll do it eventually. Not right now though, because it's late, or it's getting late. So that's it, and I'm gonna go and do stuff.